So Allah has promised us in the Quran. He said, Inna Allaha ma'as-sabirin. Allah is always with those who are truly patient. So Allah rewarded the Prophet for his patience and for his endurance. The Prophet endured the death of his wife, he endured the death of his uncle, he endured the beating of Ta'if. Allah said, Inna Allaha ma'as-sabirin. So if you are patient, no matter any situation you meet yourself, know that indeed, inna ma'al usri yusra. After every calamity comes ease. So this journey was a way Allah was compensating the Prophet. Allah compensated him. Allah honored him with this miraculous journey. Said in the Quran, he said, Subhanalladhi asra bi'abdihi laylan min al-masjid al-harami ila al-masjid al-aqsa. So Allah told us that he took his slave from Masjid al-Haram to Masjid al-Aqsa in one night. In another verse of the Quran, in Surah An-Najm, Allah said, لَقَدْ رَأَى مِنْ آيَاتِ رَبِّهِ الْكُبْرَى. So the Prophet was able to see from the greatest sign of his Lord. Imagine, he was taken to heaven when he was in this world. So that was a way of honoring the Prophet after facing all the calamities in his community in Mecca, and Allah compensated him with this journey. The Isra'A is the journey from Mecca to Jerusalem, and Mi'raj is the journey Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So now I'm going to be telling you and giving you the details of this journey. The Prophet actually narrated it. He told us about how everything happened. The Quran summed it up, right? Allah told us in Surah Al-Israء that this incident happened. Also in Surah An-Najm, لَقَدْ رَأَى مِنْ آيَاتِ رَبِّهِ الْكُبْرَى. But the Sunnah, the Hadith, this is the importance of the Hadith. Anything the Quran summed up, the Hadith will give you details. It will tell you how everything happened. So the Prophet is telling us now that the beginning of the journey, when he was in his house at night, the roof of his house opened and Jibril descended. Jibril descended and took him to Hijr, which is the wall beside the Kaaba. The Prophet said at the Hijr, Jibril opened his chest and washed his heart with Zamzam water. This is the second time the heart of the Prophet will be opened. When he was little, Jibril did the same thing to his heart. Shaqqa Sadr. He opened his heart and washed his heart from everything like evil, hatred. So from his when he was little, Allah has purified his heart from anything of evil you can imagine. So the Prophet does not think of evil from people. He does not dislike people. You understand? So this is the second time his heart will be opened. He said Jibril opened his heart, like his chest, and washed his heart with Zamzam water. So the heart of the Prophet was washed. So he said there was a golden tray full of wisdom and Iman. And that wisdom and Iman was poured on his heart. Jibril poured his on his heart. He occupied his heart with wisdom and Iman. We don't know how it is, but we believe. So after that, he closed his chest. Do you know why this is happening? Why the angel is filling his heart with hikmah and iman? Because the prophet is about to go to another world, something different from this one. So he had to prepare the prophet for what he will be saying. He had to strengthen the heart of the prophet for what he is about to see. So the prophet said, after doing that, pouring the wisdom and iman on his chest, Jibril closed his chest and then brought a white beast. The name of the beast is called Burak. So he brought the beast, and the beast is very white in color, and then they headed to Jerusalem. The prophet told us about this beast that it was very white in color and very speedy. Like, the beast is very speedy. One step of the beast is as far as your eyes can see. So as far as you can see, like me looking there now, where my sight ends is the first step of that beast. So imagine how fast it is. So the prophet said, Burak is very white in color and very fast. The speed was very fast, you understand? So they were able to get to Jerusalem quickly. So the prophet told us that when they got to Jerusalem, Jibril tied the beast at where they used to tie the animal, something like that. So the beast is not just for the prophet, it has been riding some other prophets even before the prophet. So where Jibril used to tie it, he tied it, and the prophet entered the masjid. So the prophet said when he got to the masjid, inside the Masjid al-Aqsa, he said, قَدْ رَأَيْتُنِي فِي جَمَاعَةٍ مِنَ الْأَنْبِيَاءِ فَإِذَا مُوسَى قَائِمٌ يُصَلِّي فَجَاءَتِ الصَّلَاةُ فَأَمَّمْتُهُ. Imagine. Like the prophet said, when he got to Jerusalem, he saw himself among the group of other prophets, like every prophet Allah had sent. He said he saw himself among them. The prophet that had died, the prophet said he saw them, every one of them. فَإِذَا مُوسَى قَائِمٌ يُصَلِّي. He also saw Musa standing and praying. He mentioned Prophet Ibrahim that he saw him also standing and praying. He saw Isa standing and praying. Then he said, فَجَاءَتِ الصَّلَاةِ. Then time for Salat came, and Jibril forwarded him. فَأَمَمْتُهُمْ. Then he led other prophets in prayer. So we really don't know, because our brain is limited. We don't know how possible the prophet saw other prophets. Is it that he saw their spirit, or it is unimaginable? So the prophet is in another world. All we just have to do as a Muslims is to believe. So he said he saw himself among the group of other prophets. Ja'at as-salat fa'amamtuhum. Then the time for salat came, and he led them in prayer. So I want to derive some few lessons from this incident now. First of all, the number one lesson about the prophet leading other prophets in salat is that every prophet of Allah, from Prophet Adam to our last prophet, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, all of them worship one God, and their religion is Islam. They have just one religion. Fa'amamtuhum, and I led them in salat. So their religion is one. That is another lesson. None of the prophets was a Christian. None of them was a Jew. All of them come with one religion. That is the number two lesson. And the third lesson I learned is that this narration that the prophet led other prophets shows the rank of the prophet. Like, it clearly manifested the rank of the prophet, our beloved prophet, among other prophets. You understand? The prophet said he led every other prophet in salat, which means that Allah is manifesting the rank of our prophet, that he led every other prophet. So that is the third lesson we are learning from this narration. Another lesson is that all the prophets of Allah, they were all men. They were all men, and our prophet is the last prophet sent by Allah. Allah said, "Ma kana Muhammadun aba'a ahadin min rijalikum, walakin Rasulullah wa khataman nabiyyin." So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was the last prophet of every other prophet. No prophet comes after Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He was the last prophet and led every other prophet in prayer. So any prophet that is claiming, anybody claiming prophecy in this our time, we should not believe them. It is a lie. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was the last prophet Allah has chosen. So this is also a lesson that Prophet Muhammad was the last prophet, and all the prophets sent by Allah, they were all men. In the history of Islam, nowhere in the Quran that we heard Allah sent women to be prophets. You can see the job of the prophet is very difficult. They stoned our prophet. Women can't do that job. You understand? So it is just for men. So all the religion of every other prophet is Islam. All of them, they were men, and women were not sent. So the prophet continued. He said, after he prayed, he led the other prophets in prayer. Then Jibril took him to heaven. So inshallah, I'm going to be talking about the Mi'raj in my next video. Keep watching, where I'll be talking about what the prophet saw in heaven, all the authentic narration. I'll tell you inshallah in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Jazakumullahu khairan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.